Hey folks, Tyler here with seawaywhiskywire. Back with another shootout video, guys. This time I've got two expressions from a classic Speyside distillery and the Aberlour distillery. So why don't you go watch that intro and then come on back and we'll carve out some time to spend with both of these expressions from Aberlour. Stick around, guys. Well, hey guys, thanks for coming back after the intro. I'm Tyler, and yeah, I am just fresh off one of my recent whiskey club meetings where we went through three expressions from the Aberlour distillery. We had the Aberlour 12-year-old, the Aberlour 14, and the Aberlour Abuna Alba, which I do have a little sample of, but I thought I'd reserve that for a later date to share with you guys here. But I actually was the presenter of the Aberlour 14-year-old, so I reviewed the 12-year-old a little while back. Actually, this was my second review on the channel. It was episode number 2. If you haven't seen that, maybe it's best you don't go back to see it. But if you want to go back and see, how things looked when I started the YouTube channel back about a year ago or so, go check out that video on the Aberlour 12. I'll put a link to it somewhere, maybe below. Yeah, Aberlour 12 was one of my first scotches that I had acquired and one of my first reviews for the channel. And I managed to get a sample back from the Whiskey Club of the Aberlour 14, which is the one that I presented and had to talk about a little bit for, a little bit pre-taste. But it was a fun night, and so I thought I would bring that back and share that with you guys, and we could shoot this out. Both are readily available whiskeys, both available in most markets. At least the 12 is. I'm not 100% sure on the 14 how available it is. I know in Ontario it's kind of hit and miss. I believe if you go to the bigger metropolitan areas, it shouldn't be a problem. I think we go out west, you'd find it too. Both 40%. Which I was inspired by John, the whiskey neighbor. He did a 40% video, I think it was last week or the week before. But anyways, he inspired me to kind of do this video a little bit right after his, just because he was brave enough to throw some 40% onto his channel, which we don't usually talk about being enthusiasts and all. But you know what? Aberlour is a classic distillery with some classic expressions, and I thought it'd be fun to shoot them out. What can I tell you about these two expressions from Aberlour? Well, we'll start off with the 12-year-old here. So the Aberlour 12-year-old, 40% ABV, chill filtered, color added, comes in from the Aberlour distillery in Speyside, and double cask maturation with a focus more so, I would say, on the sherry side of things. They use ex-bourbon and ex-sherry, and they pour them into a marrying tub, and they marry them together for an undisclosed amount of time, and they bottle it down at 40%. But again, I think there's more sherry or more active sherry casks than there is bourbon casks in there, in the mix. Obviously an age statement of 12 years old. And then they've got the Aberlour 14-year-old over here, comes in at an ABV of 40%. I think online that in Europe, I think it is, maybe it comes in at an ABV of 43%. I could be wrong with that, but I believe I saw that. But if we have 40% in Ontario here, double cask maturation, again, to me, it's probably kind of a similar process, maybe a different cask makeup or whatnot that makes up the inner workings of the 14-year-old, but that comes in with this age statement of 14 years of age, 40% ABV, chill filtered, and color added. And again, it states prominently on the bottle that they use their double maturation process. Something to consider, I guess, for these here, and I was going to kind of share the back end of the video, but I said, what the heck, let's put it in here. This particular bottle comes in at $90 in my area here. At $90, it's a pretty good entry-level Scotch at a 12-year-old age stamp, coming in from Aberlour and whatnot. Not craft presented by any means, but still it carries itself at $90. This one here, I would have to go back and check my notes to confirm 100%, and maybe I'll put a correction if I'm wrong, but I think it's somewhere around $126 or $127 in Ontario. Which is a huge jump up from the $90 and the 12 for 2 years of age more. But that's the fun of shooting out these kind of whiskeys together and just seeing what comes out of it. So without further ado, let's get into it and see what we can get out of the Aberlour 12-year-old to begin. Then we'll move over to the 14-year-old and see what it brings. So yeah, let's get in. So we'll go in, take a look here at the color-wise. It's a pretty amber color there. Again, not natural color, so we're not going to spend too much time on the color, but they're definitely trying to push the fact that they've got active casks, they've got sherry casks in here that are giving it some nice color. But you know, it's a 40%. Let's hop on the nose and see what we can get out of the Aberlour 12. So very classic nose on the Aberlour 12-year-old. I'm getting some nice spice. I'm getting some cherries, some dates, raisins, some figs, some, probably I would say, some green apples on there as well. A little bit of orange, but not too much. And then you can kind of get this little bit of cinnamon on the end of it there. Maybe a little bit of oak piece. Yeah. All right. Let's get in the palate and revisit the Aberlour 12. So, Slanja, to your health. Let's get into it. So it's a nice palate, nice clean palate. Been a while since I've had a. I've had the Glenmorangie 10-year-old as a 40%, but I didn't remember this one being so short and very much washed away, very quick to enter the palate and exit the palate. But on the palate, I mean, when it is there, you are getting those apples, those raisins, plums, cherries. You get some chocolate on there. It's more of a bittersweet chocolate. And I'm getting a tiny bit of coffee on the end there too. Then you get this nice little bit of spice at the end. Going for one more sip. Yeah. The spice is there, but it hits you hard, but then it's gone just as quick as it comes. And it's really cinnamon, clove, nutmeg, a little bit of like bitterness from the oak maybe in there. But yeah, it comes and then it goes real quick. I mean, net, if it wasn't for the short finish, it's a very, you know, I shouldn't even gripe about it. Very approachable, very affordable, and very easy entry level single malt from a very much classic distillery in Aberlour. You know, being more of an enthusiast now, I think I just want a little bit more, expect a little bit more of my scotches. But you know what, for $90, I'm not gonna gripe. It's a pretty good expression from the Aberlour distillery. On to the 14-year-old, which is the one that I I presented at the Whiskey Club there. You know, I don't talk too much about my Whiskey Club, but you know, we've got a great group of guys and ladies that go out and put on this Whiskey Club. Usually we do it kind of starting in the fall. This was our first meeting of our term here, and then we go until spring, and then take the summer off. But we do some very, very great whiskey nights in the fall, right before Christmas time. We do a Robbie Burns night as well, and then we do a dedication to Irish malts in March. And I just, you know, I love going to it. It's local here in the Seaway, and we got a great group of folks that I meet there. And I've done a couple presentations like this one here. So let's get onto the Aberlour 14 and see what we can get on it. So color-wise, you know, I'm thinking it's kind of the same. Like side by side, there's not much difference. So let's hop on the. Maybe I almost knocked over the Karen there, but I saved it. Good for me. Let's get on the nose of the of the Aberlour 14, and you know, see if it's worth all those extra dollars and cents ahead of this 12-year-old. So on the nose. So nose-wise, it's a little more washed out, but it's more. I get honey. I get a lot more honey, apples. Maybe it might be the cask makeup, like the way they, like maybe this is more maybe the 12 is more focused on the sherry. The 14 might be more focused or more heavily on the bourbon. Yeah, I'm getting more of those, you know, classic bourbon notes, the vanillas, the honey. I get a little bit of I get apples and oranges. I get a little bit of the red fruits, but not nearly as much. Like no cherry on there. It's more raisins and dates. I don't get the coffee note or the chocolate note either. Yeah, just almost kind of, it's just like almost no sherry influence at all. More focused on bourbon, I would say. But you know what? Let's get into the palate and see what the palate brings. So, Slanja, into your health, and let's go. Aberlour 14. Mouthfeel wise, it's again very thin liquid. Honey, vanilla. You get a little bit of those fruits, those dried fruits, raisins, whatnot. Apples. Candied orange peel, I think, is kind of in there a little bit more so than the red fruits and red berries. Let's go one more sip. No spice, no burn. Very fleeting again at the end. The end is very citrus and very confectionery. Again, candied orange peels, vanilla. Yeah. I mean, I don't have much experience with the 14. I've had a couple of drams of it, and really shooting it off against the 12 two days, in the last week here. I got to go with the 12 as a stronger expression. There's just more to it, and I feel a little bit cheated if I bought this bottle, and I'm sure there's people out there that prefer the 14 over the 12, and they're going to tell me different. And honestly, I would love to hear about it. Stick a comment down there and tell me. But if I was paying $126 or $127 for this bottle, knowing that I've had the 12 before, I would be enraged. Very upset, because the 12 is just such more, and I mean, maybe it's because I'm a sherry guy too, I like the sherry influence, but it's just got so much more going on, more vibrant. It's just, the 14 is very drowned out and very dull, and just not a lot going on. Let me go back to the 12 here for one more. Just yeah, to me it's much more vibrant than the 14. So yeah, there you go, guys. I mean, age statement isn't always everything, I know. This is a great example of it, in my opinion. And Aberlour 12 is one of these, staple whiskeys that I've had in my collection. I think I've had 2 bottles of it, and am I going to be replacing it next round? I'm getting pretty low on this bottle here. Probably not, just because I'm moving into some, more craft expressions and whatnot. But I mean, $90 versus $127. If I had paid $127 for this, I don't think I'd be very upset with it. You have a much better product, much more vibrant profile, and much more active casks in the Aberlour 12-year-old, in my opinion. But could be batch variants or whatnot. But I think if you're going to go out and get yourself an Aberlour, I'd recommend the Aberlour 12. I would anyways on any given day recommend the Aberlour 12. Shooting it off against the Aberlour 14-year-old, definitely would recommend you go and get yourself a bottle of Aberlour 12 if you're planning on buying something from the Aberlour distillery. But the winner of that particular whiskey night was definitely the Abuna Alba, which was 100% bourbon cask and cask strength and whatnot. It was probably the definite winner, but again, we'll save that for another day. In this particular shootout, obviously Aberlour 12 was the clear winner over the Aberlour 14-year-old, so there you have it. And if you like what we're doing here at seawaywhiskywire, you guys know that drill. Like and subscribe down below, and don't forget to check me out on Instagram at seawaywhiskywire. I do lots of other cool content there, and share different things on there as well. And if you guys are still hanging around at this point, thank you very much for hanging around and supporting the channel. Really appreciate it. And yeah, 40% alcohol by volume. I'm not a big fan of it. I am I would say I'm a big supporter of Aberlour 12 as a great starter whiskey. So I'm going to finish my little dram here, and I'm going to, say goodbye to my Aberlour 14-year-old as well. But yeah, I definitely think you'll enjoy the 12 over the 14. So take care, guys. All the best, and I'll see you around. Bye for now.